if it were not for women giving me direct feedback in my own personal life and being a man who was willing to at least listen to them, there's no chance that I would be having this conversation.
I just kind of cast it as, oh, he's losing his marbles. Had I known, I think I would have handled it better. I think I would have been a much more patient person. I think my father would have felt way less alone.
What if the hero you cheered for suddenly lost his status in the superhero universe? That's precisely what transpired when Ryan Reynolds, a crucial Marvel draw, was suddenly dismissed from the series. Fans were startled, especially given Marvel is known for fostering its talent. But this choice has deeper origins, related to an event involving Ryan, his wife Blake Lively, and filmmaker Justin Baldoni. Marvel, generally hesitant about internal friction, acknowledged the split and hinted at important reasons behind it. The surprising removal of Ryan from Marvel's roster alluded to something deeper than a mere contract conflict. Insider reports emphasized difficulties relating to Blake and Justin, which had evolved into allegations and personal grudge wars. This wasn't only a rumor, it was enough to cost Ryan his superhuman status. His departure signified a shift in Hollywood's entertainment scene, with long repercussions for everyone involved.
I mean, I internalized that as opportunity. Like we had such a responsibility to this audience to deliver something and to have the opportunity to deliver something for a passionate group of people.
Yeah.
As someone who is so deeply passionate myself, I was so excited about that. I would so much rather have that than people who are indifferent.
Blasé.
Justin's quarrel with Blake appeared intended at her from the onset. Blake, a blossoming actress, joined his movie to offer her flair, but murmurs of conflict surfaced early. Some believed Blake felt overshadowed, while others thought Justin was micromanaging. Initially, the situation appeared trivial, but leaks suggested to deeper turmoil. Both were unwilling to back down, and even before Ryan's name was involved, their tension riveted Hollywood. On paper, they looked a fantastic match, Justin's empathy with Blake's star power. However, the partnership rapidly deteriorated, with Blake battling over screenplay alterations, marketing, and casting. She publicly accused Justin of producing unfavorable news about her. In an unexpected twist, Justin's team produced text messages suggesting Blake's own demands and manipulation, alluding to her connections, including Ryan. The story startled fans who saw Ryan as the easygoing celebrity, suddenly implicated in producing unfavorable publicity about Justin.
It's believing that people and humanity are inherently good, and they crave nutritious food in their soul, just as they do in their bodies.
In the digital world, text messages and emails may be devastating proof. Industry insiders reported how Ryan conspired with Blake to damage Justin's credibility. They proposed particular angles to leak, making Justin seem callous to Blake's fears. The generally cool cartoonist stayed silent when reporters inquired, and Marvel's management made no answer, fueling suspicion. Meanwhile, Justin suggested he had fresh information that may significantly tarnish Ryan's image with Marvel. Behind the scenes, Marvel executives found themselves in a tough situation. They had constructed programs around Ryan's charming demeanor, but if the allegations were valid, they risked looking complicit by keeping him on board. Things intensified when Justin threatened to release substantial proof. Marvel executives reviewed the materials and thought Ryan's presence may generate more harm than good. They released a statement, citing fresh knowledge that made sustaining their partnership difficult. Fans were startled, seeking explanations. Ryan's fall from Marvel sent a message to other studios. Star power doesn't trump serious allegations. Marvel's public move against him was exceptional, since they generally minimize concerns. Some think they overreacted, while others applauded the strong approach. Justin, however, stayed silent, focused entirely on maintaining his reputation.
I'm honored, and I'm also more honored that because, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful, that we're able to have this much anticipation, and so many people want to go see it and are talking about it. Like, that's what I'm grateful for.
And you had a key part in bringing it to the big screen. How did this all come to be?
Well, in 2019, I read the book. I was sent the book by my book agent and friend at the time, and I was looking for films that could inspire, that were commercially viable, but also could really like reach in and touch somebody's heart. And
Blake's team kept mute, sparking concerns that she was also trying to confront the consequences. Speculation grew that her attorney had broken ways owing to disagreements regarding her story of events. Ryan, who normally responded to controversy with comedy, was mute this time. The thought that he intended to ruin Justin jeopardized his clean, fun-loving image. Even his most devoted admirers began wondering who he really was behind the jokes. Blake wasn't faring much better. Once acclaimed for her charm and flair, her reputation was now attached to an apparent plot to influence public opinion and eclipse a filmmaker. The once perfect Hollywood duo suddenly found themselves under immense scrutiny, with suspicions about everything from behind-the-scenes manipulation to the integrity of their marriage. Sources reported a crisis mode setting where every post, remark, and press interaction was tightly scrutinized to prevent greater harm. Marvel's action to jettison Ryan stirred fears in Hollywood, with other production firms asking if they should follow suit. Several projects reevaluated their strategies, fearing adverse exposure. Despite Hollywood's short memory for scandals, Marvel's harsh move showed serious evidence against Ryan. Meanwhile, Justin's adjustment continued forward, and some team members secretly wished the chaos would halt. Ironically, the debate can heighten curiosity regarding Justin's film, luring individuals wanting to uncover the truth behind the rivalry. In the aftermath, doubts remained. Would Ryan deny the claims? Or apologize?
And being frank, if it were not for women giving me direct feedback in my own personal life and being a man who was willing to at least listen to them, there's no chance that I would be having this conversation. So the message, to answer your question, the message is very simple. As men, we need to embrace all of the parts of us that make us human. That's it.
It is.
It's
And
very simple.
Fans who've been hooked to his comedic approach still hope that he'd own up to any shortcomings and eventually stage a comeback. Hollywood is known for reinvention. Many an actor has stumbled only to resurface even stronger. But Marvel's choice communicated a feeling of finality. They'd show no sign of altering direction or leaving a door open for future talks. Blake's future also hung in the balance. Her reputation suffered a severe damage as the text discussions made her seem dominant and manipulative. Whether she and Ryan acted in tandem or if she had pushed him into the fray remained unclear. Either way, the public suddenly witnessed a side of her far remote from the polished persona on talk programs and social media. If she anticipated sympathy for her plight, the recently published logs made it tougher for people to remain on her side. Not everyone sided with Justin. Some outlets mentioned the potential that Justin might have over-dramatized the event to protect himself. They claimed that it's quite unusual for directors and actors to quarrel over creative disputes, and occasionally receipts may be one-sided. Still, the prevalent consensus was that the sheer volume of evidence, texts, emails, discussion logs, went beyond usual debates. The pattern demonstrated a purposeful attempt to undercut a director's authority and maintain control over the project's narrative. This entire event led Hollywood power elites to reevaluate how they handle relationships. If a popular artist like Ryan could be terminated for overstepping professional standards, no one was invincible. Some producers hailed this decision, claiming it would herald in a more transparent era. Others were worried, saying that quick dismissals might lead to financial instability when top-tier people is critical to a project's success. For Marvel, however, the damage of keeping Ryan seemed to dwarf any box office windfall. While some in the public anticipated Justin to exult in Ryan's breakdown, he chose a calm, genuine attitude. He submitted extra data to clear up concerns regarding timing and accountability, underscoring he had no desire in personal revenge. For him, the key concern was the concept of fair collaboration. If an actor thinks their difficulties aren't heard, the cure is open conversation, not smear campaigns. Crew members exhaled better, feeling vindicated. Many had silently witnessed tension escalate into almost disaster, only to be told it was just Hollywood. From the production assistant to camera operators, everyone who had been eclipsed by gossip columns suddenly had reason to speak up. They agreed that Justin's attitude on set was far from overbearing, characterizing him as pleasant and serious in his creative approach. This contrasted sharply with charges that had painted him as an overbearing figure wanting to dominate the firm. In a sense, Marvel's strong stance on Ryan also legitimized the crew's perspective. If the best studio on Earth considered the data trustworthy, it validated the premise that Justin wasn't just manufacturing a tale.
She said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it. And by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me and she's, got snot coming out of my nose.
Either way, the mounting suspicion over their behind-the-scenes conduct took on a life of its own. People who had appreciated the couple started perceiving them as calculating media strategists, methodically preserving a charming facade while apparently manipulating narratives to their favor. Marvel has had challenges earlier, but typically manages to smooth things up. Recasting roles mid-franchise may be difficult, especially when fans have grown committed to a single actor's image. Yet Marvel Studios established that maintaining the brand's integrity takes precedence beyond any one star's appeal. Their universe is predicated on a delicate interplay of trust, faith from viewers who emotionally invest in characters, and trust among performers who work on multi-year interwoven narratives. Industry analysts began to concern who may replace Ryan in projected future endeavors. The search to develop a fresh face that resonates with audiences was on. Producers acknowledged the hazard involved. Viewers may occasionally object against recasts, but the biggest risk lay in accepting obvious misconduct. Marvel placed a calculated risk that fans would ultimately accept the position on ethics over turning a blind eye. Whether that gamble pays off remains to be seen, but the public reaction thus far has mainly agreed with the concept that responsibility counts. Hollywood adores redemption themes, but the audience has a sensitive relationship with seeming dishonesty. Ryan's funny skill previously appeared an indestructible weapon, garnering him millions of followers and developing a distinctive personality in the superhero world. Now that lovely persona appears tarnished, he tackles two enormous obstacles: regaining confidence with his audience and convincing to possible employers that he won't embroil them in difficulty. Some think that a real apology tour would generate widespread compassion. Others feel the discoveries are too severe to simply wash away with comedy or PR strategy. There's always the chance of Ryan landing lower assignments or shifting to behind-the-camera projects, quietly laboring till the tempest passes. Yet, if the Marvel collapse taught us anything, it's that certain lines, once crossed, are difficult to redraw, especially when documented proof cements the transgression in people's minds. In an age when every text, email, and internet message may be recorded, the illusions of famous personas are flimsy. Ryan's departure from Marvel underscores a key truth. No matter how popular an actor might be or how solid their comic image seems, they aren't immune to the ramifications of discreetly constructed plans. The same applies for Blake, whose involvement upended the public's view of her easygoing charm. As for Justin, he escaped from the fight with his credibility significantly intact. By sharing receipts cautiously and refraining from concentrating the emphasis on himself, he demonstrated a calm demeanor that garnered support from many corners of the business. This doesn't suggest he's immune from criticism or that everyone believes he behaved purely in self-defense. But for now, Marvel's move to dismiss Ryan signaled that Justin's story had weight, and that no matter how great a celebrity is, they can still be held accountable. Ryan Reynolds' surprise exit from Marvel serves as a cautionary example in a firm based on carefully crafted public personas. Even the most charming celebrities might face career-altering criticism when alleged machinations and clandestine agreements come to light. Marvel's clear and definitive ruling underlined that money and celebrity aren't always enough to insulate anyone from the penalty of unethical acts. In a day where digital fingerprints leave little opportunity for denials, the tale acts as a reminder. Once an industry giant decides the evidence is too harmful to ignore, even the brightest star may lose its position in the cinematic galaxy. Where Ryan, Blake, and Justin go from here is an unresolved question. Could Ryan ever recover his empire? Or will a fresh face come into the duties formerly allotted for him? The greater audience may forgive, but they won't forget the string of events that broke their faith in a star they believed they knew. For now, Hollywood marches on, adjusting to new stars, new narratives,